I'd love to tell you about my favorite sort of renewable energy, energy efficiency, resilient, disaster-proof power supply. And it's almost a surprising mashup of infrastructure ideas. It's work that we developed investigating. So we didn't invent this technology, but we basically did a proof of concept working to support the US Army to identify something that could work on military installations. Incidentally, it's a perfect fit basically for campuses especially, but really any multi-use neighborhood of buildings. And it's similar to the idea of geothermal, ground source geothermal, where in that case you're typically drilling deep holes in the ground and running a liquid through there and giving or taking heat from the ground so that you can trade it with your buildings using heat pumps. And it's all that, all winter long, you've got relatively warm groundwater, and with the miracle of a little heat pump device, you can very efficiently heat buildings. You can also cool buildings. Okay, so that's great, and some of you were nodding your heads, which is really cool. Now take this idea and say, if we looked around out in the streets here at whatever infrastructure lurks below our field of vision in any city already, do we have anything that looks like that? What might we have already that we could somehow tap and make use of to heat and cool our buildings? And it turns out we have these little things called sewers. And it turns out we wouldn't have to drill all those expensive wells. And it turns out that the sewage in these pipes is a very efficient way to, it's got perfect chemistry, in fact, for extracting and rejecting heat as you need to do. And it turns out that all the water pipes in our buildings, when you want a nice cold glass of water, you typically run your tap a little bit because that water has absorbed heat from the building. And when we run our dishwasher or a shower, we're putting a lot of heat down as well. And then we add biological inputs that themselves sort of cook that water. So we have this wonderful heat source. And some of the most promising technologies just involve transforming how we regulate and view and design and use our infrastructure so that our sewer systems can actually become part of our, in fact, the main element of our heating and cooling systems.